Hello and welcome, everyone. I'm your host, the voice of reason, Dave Dunaway. It's Thursday, November 13th, 2025, and you're listening to The Sports Voice. Last week at this time, most people in the area were talking about a Super Bowl run, how quickly things can change. I don't know why it was such a shock or so surprising to people who were watching the game. What did you expect? The coach was 1,000 times better. The personnel was 1,000 times better. There were actually draft picks made by that team in the recent decade that were out there on the field performing. When you look at it matchup to matchup, and the Chargers have not looked great all year, these are two franchises that are nowhere near each other. Oh, yeah, you can talk about how it was like a home game for the Steelers. Did that help? Did the fans in attendance will the Steelers to a victory? If I lived in Los Angeles, I'd start rooting for the Chargers because they're head and shoulders above the Pittsburgh Steelers right now. When you take a look at the AFC, you see teams that are surging, that are surprises, like the New England Patriots. You see teams that were left for dead earlier in the year that are all of a sudden in contention again, like the Chiefs and the Ravens. And then you see the Steelers hanging on by a thread, where most people in the national media say, well, even if they make the playoffs, they're going to get beat in the first round. And why do they say that? Because for the last 8 years, that's what's happened. This is a team going absolutely nowhere. It will be in the same place next year and the year after and the year after until things begin to change. One thing in particular, the outdated approach. You're not going to win enough football games in 2025 with this approach to do anything remarkable in the postseason. Oh, you might win a few games in the regular season, maybe even more than you lose, as has been the trend over the past couple of decades. But what do you have to show for that? When did all of the mindset change amongst the people in this area, where it was always, let's try to win a Super Bowl, to now it's, let's try to be above the mean? Because really, when you look at what is assembled right now on this current roster, that's about the best hope that you have to end the season. It's not about a playoff run. It might not even be about making the playoffs at all. It's all about finishing above the mean, getting to that 9-8, that magical record that tacks one more year on the list of never having a losing season. In the end, it comes down to one thing, the head coach, because he's more than that. He's also the general manager, and he also dictates exactly what system is going to be implemented. He's the offensive coordinator, the defensive coordinator, the special teams coach, the GM, and who knows, maybe even the owner at this point without the bankroll. Everything that you see from that Pittsburgh Steelers team revolves around one man. And once again, stating what I've stated the last couple of weeks, you can't tell me that when the defense plays poorly and they decide to make a change and they replace the defensive coordinator, or when the offense plays poorly and they replace the offensive coordinator, that the next guy that comes in has exactly the same game plan. There's no way you can convince me of that. You've had numerous faces in numerous places, and one thing has stayed consistent for all of that time: Mike Tomlin. There is no way you can watch what goes on that field and think for a second that anyone else is the behind-the-scenes puppet master besides that man. It has been exactly the same since 2007 on defense and on offense. Outside of maybe a couple of hiccups like Bruce Arians and Ken Wisenhunt and Ben Roethlisberger calling his own plays, or Russell Wilson audibling at the line in one game last year before he got screamed at. Clearly, you cannot believe that what is happening with this franchise is anyone's fault besides his. No matter what you hear at the beginning of the season, no matter what you think they've brought in during free agency, no matter what draft picks are overrated so much that you think they are the future of this franchise, in the end, the finale never changes. It always ends in disappointment. Maybe you're 9-8 or in the past 8-8 and you don't make the playoffs. Or you get there and you're annihilated in the last game. Or you're on track to make the playoffs, but you lose some down the stretch, which takes you out. Either way, you're disappointed. When's the last time a Steelers season ended and you felt good about it? When is the last time a young player that was drafted was actually developed into what potentially could be a Pro Bowler on this roster? It just doesn't happen. The philosophy is outdated. The scheme is outdated. The execution is outdated. And the head coach is outdated. Until a change is made at the top, and I assure you, everyone, he is the top, nothing will change. It will be the same old story. And I know you can hold out hope. You can look at this Jakobi Meyers trade to Jacksonville and say, well, wait a minute, the Steelers didn't want to give up draft picks because the draft is in Pittsburgh next year. They're going to get their quarterback in the first round next year. How many times have you heard that? They just drafted a quarterback in the first round 3 years ago. Was that the quarterback of the future? What about the other skill position players that they've drafted? How's George Pickens doing for them right now? How's Calvin Austin? How's Freiermuth? How's Caleb Johnson? I mean, these are all high picks that have not materialized at all. But then you can say, well, wait a minute, the Steelers care more about defense. It's those splash plays on defense that help to turn a game around. Well, maybe in the regular season, certainly not in the postseason. Well, how are those young players doing on defense that were drafted? How's Keanu Benton faring? How is Peyton Wilson? I mean, yeah, they had a good game here, a good game there. Where is the progression from these players that were drafted in the first few rounds of the NFL draft? I mean, you've got to hit on one somewhere along the way, don't you? I know you're holding out hope. Maybe it's Frazier. There's got to be somebody in there that might be the one that you hit on. But if you have to think that hard, if you have to look that deep, if you have to look beyond a Pickett or a Harris or a Pickens, these were the names that were drafted. Not only did they not work out, none of them are even there on this roster anymore. That's why it's Christmas in July during free agency. That's why they can go out and spend whatever money they want because they don't have to worry about saving it for any of their top-tier young players that they've drafted over the last decade. They take that money, they spend it ridiculously on players that are over the hill. Their best days are well behind them. See this year and what's happening. The defense is the last thing that's going to help this team make a playoff run. Yes, they had a great game against the Colts. Everyone was so excited. I told you it was the mistakes made by Daniel Jones that won that game. There were wide open receivers all over the field. He just didn't hit them. They probably would have been able to run. I mean, Vidal ran all over them last week for the Chargers. You don't think MVP candidate Jonathan Taylor could have done it? But Indianapolis wanted to put it all in the hands of Daniel Jones, and it failed miserably. And it inflated for you for a week this idea that the Steelers are a good team, a playoff team, a team that can do something. In the end, all it did was overrate them, like most of you do at the beginning of each season. You look at it through your black and gold glasses, and you don't see what's really there standing back at you. A team of old, overpaid, over-the-hill players that just can't compete in today's NFL. Oh, they're paid like they can. Look at the money T.J. Watt got handed to him. What a great season he's had thus far. Cam Hayward won't come anywhere close to reaching those milestones that he needs, those incentives to get the bonuses that he's looking for in his contract. Alex Highsmith, outside of one game, has been absolutely invisible for this team. And Jalen Ramsey has showed that one-on-one, he can't cover anyone. These are the highest paid players on this Pittsburgh Steelers roster. Add in Patrick Queen and Aaron Rodgers, and the one thing that they have in common for all of them, Their best days are long gone. I never thought for a second the defense would be worse without Micah Fitzpatrick. I thought he was the worst defensive player in the NFL. When you stand 10 yards behind the line of scrimmage, you have to assume they've got to be the worst. But then after this trade, I realized this past week, Miami actually won that trade. Jonnu Smith has been horrendous in his short tenure with the Steelers. If you think DK Metcalf drops a lot of balls, go back and watch the film on Jonnu Smith. I don't think he catches anything. And then Ramsey, who they thought, we can do anything with this guy. Let's put him at corner. Let's put him in Porter. Well, they're similar because neither one can cover one-on-one. But then you start looking at the safety position and you start asking yourself, who's going to come up and help? Is it Kyle Duggar? I could go 15 minutes telling you about Kyle Duggar and what he did in New England. It wasn't much, and there won't be anything positive that comes out of it. But I know you all like him because he had one good game, part of a good game this past week. Kyle Duggar was a Bill Belichick project that never materialized, and it won't materialize in Pittsburgh either. If you think Kyle Duggar is decent, it's because the rest of the secondary is just that bad. If they can make him look like a starting NFL player, they've got to be the worst secondary in the NFL. And honestly, if you watch the game against the Chargers, they certainly looked like it Sunday night. All of that hope and optimism from that Colts game ended almost immediately in the Charger game. They can't beat a legitimate team. Doesn't matter who it is. Are the Colts a legitimate team? I don't know. Are the Patriots a legitimate team? I don't know. But in the best case scenario that I can imagine for myself, I want the Steelers to win their division. I want them to make the playoffs. I want them to get there. Because if they don't get there, then it's, well, this team, Baltimore came out of nowhere. You've got all sorts of excuses. But when they get there and they get annihilated, the excuses go away. My hope is that New England wins their division. My hope is that the Chargers win theirs as well, which leaves potentially two wildcard teams as Buffalo and Kansas City. And honestly, I don't care which one it is, but I hope the Steelers have to play one of them because that will be another annihilation. It'll be another year without a playoff win and another year of stumbling in. You had a great record early on. You can't beat who you should beat. You can't beat who you shouldn't beat half the time. I would love to see that as a matchup early on in the playoffs because then you once again have the end of disappointment. Not that I'm trying to be cynical with any of this. I'm just trying to be real. This is the reality. And if you're still sitting there and you can't see where the problem lies with this team, and I know a lot of people realize it and a lot of people hope that the Rooneys will do the right thing, but they never will. This guy has a job for life. Mike Tomlin is going nowhere. Every time the clown owner opens his mouth, it's an endorsement of what he does. Oh, they might try to fool you every once in a while and wait until later in the season to give him his contract extension, but he's going nowhere. He will be here as long as he wants to be, and his system will stay with him. Nothing will ever change. There might be some different faces, but the system will remain because it has remained since 2007. Think about it. Go back, look at film, listen to people like Julian Edelman tell you what was going on 11 years ago is still going on right now today. Nothing will ever change. That is the system. That is the Tomlin way. That is the standard. He hopes that somehow, some way he's going to win with it again, but those days are long gone. You've got to be able to make changes and adjustments to survive as a coach, unless you coach for the Steelers, where they take pride in saying, we've only had 3 coaches in the last 60 years. That's what they like to say. So you know if you land a job there, you're probably there as long as you want to be. But on any other team, look at the accountability that is held. Brian Daboll. Brian Daboll was supposed to be one of the most innovative offensive minds of this generation, and the Giants fired him midway through the season. Other teams don't put up with it. Other teams strive for something better. And you could say all you want, well, there are teams that would be happy if you made the playoffs for, all of these years. Would they be happy 8 years later when the result is the same? Would they be happy just sneaking in if they knew each year it was going to end in disappointment, it was going to end in a blowout loss, and there was going to be no progress made from one year to the next? Also, no hope of a future. What hope do you have of a future for the Pittsburgh Steelers? The 41-year-old quarterback, the almost 40-year-old defense? Who's going to step up and take the places of them? Do you think those people are on the roster? Do you really think Will Howard is the quarterback of the future? Do you think the linebackers, that Herbig, who all I hear is how little he is he the future? Is he going to replace T.J. Watt? Is Jack Sawyer going to replace Alex Highsmith? Is Harmon going to replace Hayward? Like, I know you might think that now, but once again, it goes back to what I said at the beginning of this. It's the overrating that is done by the locals. And I'm not saying that you don't know what you're talking about. You don't do it because you're not aware. You do it because you want hope. You want to believe that somehow, some way, these people are going to be the future. They are going to be elite players, and the Steelers are going to get back to where they were in the 1970s and the early 2000s, where Super Bowl was the expectation. But right now, it's anything but. Now it's the mean. I mean, when you start talking about that, you're literally giving your team no chance from the very start of the season. If you really thought you had a good team, you'd be saying, oh, I think we can compete. I think we can make a deep run in the playoffs. And we might even make it to the Super Bowl. But when you stand there as an owner, the clown that you are, but you're still the owner, and say, we achieve above the mean every year, that tells me that even you are smart enough to realize that what you are putting out there can't compete with the elite teams in today's National Football League. And if you had any questions in your mind, you should have gotten your answers Sunday night, because those two were playing two different sports, and the Steelers weren't even remotely in the game from the time that opening kickoff happened. They looked lost. They were disoriented. Their plays were very scripted and very obvious, and Jim Harbaugh and the Chargers took 100% advantage of every shortcoming on that field. I don't know what's going to happen this week with Cincinnati. Cincinnati already got one win over them, so who knows? Can we put a game plan together for 40-year-old Joe Flacco? It's hard to tell. But in the end, regardless of how it ends, you know the ending right now. It's just a matter of where it'll be. Will it be in the first round of the playoffs? Will it be in the final week of the season? Or will it be something that happens sooner, which eliminates them from the playoffs with a couple of weeks left? They'll still get to 9-8. We know that. That's a guarantee. But what will they have to show for being above the mean? My guess, the same thing it is every year. Disappointment. Nick Barczyk is here with me, and I didn't even get a chance here in my opening monologue to look at other sports or other things because the Steelers have me just entirely frustrated. Like, I don't understand, and I don't even root for them, but I kind of want to see them do something because I'm thinking about where New England could fall into this whole scenario right now. How do people watch this and not for a second believe where the problem lies? It's not the offense or the defense or the person. It's the one person that is the puppet master of everything, and I just don't understand how people think he can remain, and all of a sudden, like a miracle, this team's going to be a Super Bowl contender, because it isn't happening. As long as he's there, you're going to see more of the same. It could be 2 more decades until it ends.
Yeah, it's stubbornness on his part, stubbornness by the organization, Dave. They are very proud of the fact that they don't fire coaches. They've had 3 since the 60s, and that's now an albatross around their neck. It just is. And they should get younger. They should get offensive. I mean, you look at the teams that are doing well. They have young quarterbacks. They have offensive minds. I mean, Mike Vrabel, not really an offensive mind, but certainly a guy that is putting together a great run in New England. They're ahead of schedule in terms of their rebuild. And look at the Bears with Ben Johnson, Caleb Williams. But no, you have an older, stubborn defensive coach and a very old quarterback, and that's just not a good combo in today's NFL. Rodgers looked his age. And you're right, Tomlin is the major reason for a lot of this, and his message has grown stale. And look, he would go somewhere else and win, so Steeler fans would be upset initially. But I think messages grow stale. Look at the Penguins with Sullivan. He's a guy who won, but his message in that room grew stale, so they moved on. So the Steelers should do the same thing. So until you see an organizational change, they need to pivot away from older guys and all that money they spent on defense to younger and offensive. And until they do that, you're right, they're not going to win playoff games and certainly not Super Bowls. Colts game was a nice maybe outlier, but I think the Steelers really are what you saw in that Charger game, and they'll beat the Bengals Sunday probably and go to 6-4, and the fan base will be excited again. It's easy to fool the masses week to week, Dave.
in year to year, for that matter. And quite honestly, why should it matter if Tomlin would go somewhere else and win there? The reality is he's never going to win here. So if he goes somewhere else and wins, more power to him. Sullivan's doing okay in New York with the Rangers. More power to him. The Penguins would be nowhere near where they are right now if Sullivan was still there. And the same thing goes for the Steelers. Like Tomlin, and I'm not saying he's a terrible coach, but he's stubborn and he's stale and he's not going to change. And this team, the way it's assembled right now, can't win like this. They don't have the personnel, and they have no way to get the personnel because, first and foremost, everything's going to revolve around defense. And teams that do that don't win. That's where we are in 2025. You've got to invest in a quarterback. You've got to invest in receivers. You let a trade deadline pass. You're trying to sell to the people that you want to make the playoffs, that you're a playoff contender. You've got one receiver, maybe, because he can't hold on to the ball half the time. You have an opportunity to go out and get a better one, I think, in Jacoby Myers. It's a great possession receiver, catches literally everything that's thrown to him. A 4th and 6th round pick apparently would have landed him because that's what Jacksonville gave up for him, and you choose not to. And now I hear it's because they want to make sure they have enough draft picks because the draft is in Pittsburgh next year. Are you kidding me? This is how you're going to entice people to go by saying, hey, we've got a 4th round pick and we've got a 6th round. Nobody cares about that. People care about whether or not you can put a legitimate offense out there so that you can compete against a team like Buffalo or Kansas City or the Chargers, for that matter, who blew you right off the field Sunday night. If you have a chance to get better and you're trying to sell to the people that you're trying to make the playoffs, then you need to take it. This is 2 years in a row they didn't do it. They could have gotten Keenan Allen last year. Looks like he still has a little bit in the tank based on what he's done. He's a Charger again. He was decent last year. I mean, they don't have anything that's developed. Look at what Ladd McConkey did. Why don't the Steelers have somebody like that? No, they want to draft a project who they know has attitude issues, and then after a couple of years, they realize we can't control them, so we're just going to trade them and get nothing back in return. That's what they do. They have a running back that looks like maybe the best player on offense who can't get as many snaps as the backup. I mean, this is how they run their organization, and then you take maybe one of the most prolific passers in the history of the NFL. Aaron Rodgers is a sure bet first ballot Hall of Famer, and you turn him into a game manager. You don't let him do anything that he did for his entire career. You put him out there throwing safe passes and then ridiculous things that end up getting picked off, whether they go off the hands of your inept receivers or they just go right into the hands of the defense because it's not the game Rodgers is used to playing. And you've got a defense that whines and cries about money, money, money. They don't get paid enough. They don't get paid enough. Well, great job, TJ Watt. 3 tackles against the Los Angeles Chargers this past week. I'm glad he, at one point, was the highest paid player on defense in the National Football League. And Hayward needs, 11 sacks? Does he have any at this point to try to get incentive money for him? And then, of course, Jalen Ramsey, Mr. Mouth, who showed one thing and one thing only this year. If you put him one-on-one with literally anyone, it could be a running back or a tight end, he's not going to be anywhere near him. He needs help with literally everything that's going on. I mean, this is what goes out there and tries to sell to you that they're trying to make the playoffs. And then when teams adjust on them like Green Bay did, you do nothing different. You just keep going through the same old motions for the entire second half and get blown off the field there too. At home, which, by the way, looked like it was in Green Bay because of all the green and yellow jerseys that were being worn around there. So you're looking at this franchise that used to be elite. At one point, they had the most Super Bowls of any team. You had fans all over the country, all over the world that rooted for them and expected to see them contend for something, and they did for year after year after year. And then the real owners passed on, and the clown comes in who wants it to be a circus and wants to be his own celebrity and brings in a bunch of old players because, like fantasy football, you would think that's what he's playing from the early 2000s with the guys that are here on this team, and it hasn't worked out, and nothing changes. The coach stays the same. The system stays the same. The scheme stays the same. The outdated philosophy stays the same. And you know what else stays the same? The mediocrity. And it's going nowhere.
Yeah, I mean, if this was working, it'd be one thing, but it's not, Dave. And, playoff wins used to be the expectation. Now it's getting there, and I don't even think it's that. I think they are satisfied with 9, 10 wins, and they beat the teams they should beat. Yeah, they're going to beat up on the Browns. They're going to split with the Bengals. They might even split with the Ravens. But you get in a game with Buffalo, with Kansas City, you're not able to outscore those teams. And look at the Chargers; they just tore them apart, and the Packers in the second half wore them down. So, and if they don't get takeaways, if they don't force the other team to turn the ball over, or the other team doesn't just hand them the ball like New England did, they're not going to win. They're a team that relies on splash plays. They rely on takeaways, and when they don't get them like they did not Sunday night, they're wiped off the field. And against Green Bay, they just wore them down in the second half. The contrast was overwhelming with that young Green Bay team just overwhelming the old overpaid Steeler defense. And yeah, I mean, they have a lot of big names on this team, like Rodgers, like Watt, like Hayward, like DK Metcalf, who's been awful, just awful. But they don't really have a team. Not a team that can win playoff games, and not a team that can, outlast really good teams, whether it be Green Bay or the LA Chargers.
But they're old names.
That's what I mean.
The problem.
That's the
None
point.
of them are young. They're not in their prime. Yeah,
exactly.
If they were in their prime, that'd be great. If you had some of those guys, then yeah, you're looking at a team, despite Tomlin and his outdated coaching, you're looking at a team that can contend.
Right.
The leading receiver was Roman Wilson, who, by the way, played in garbage time and caught a 27-yard touchdown. I mean, 2 for 35. He's their leading receiver. That should tell you all you need to know right there as far as how that game went for the Steelers. That the only time they could actually do something was when the Chargers let down their guard and allowed them to march right down the field because it didn't matter, and they were just killing clock at that point. I mean, Kamani Vidal.
I thought it was Gore Vidal.
Yeah, Kamani Vidal. He was an afterthought. I think he was a practice squad guy last year. He was drafted late, 95 yards and a touchdown.
Unreal.
Just tearing apart the Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean, that's what you're looking at. These weren't even, Najee Harris was the starting running back. Then they drafted Omarion Hampton in the first round. Those guys are both hurt.
Exactly.
And Vidal comes in and runs all over that Steeler defense that people around here are trying to say is elite somehow, some way. I mean, this should have been the biggest embarrassment for this franchise all year, and I guarantee it isn't. I guarantee excuses are being, well, if we'd have done this differently and we'd have done that differently. There's a whole lot of if we would have done differently in that game. Maybe if we would have coached differently or made adjustments or let the quarterback be a quarterback. I mean, there's a number of things that could have been done that were not done, and that's why it was a blowout. It looked like a legit playoff game because normally at the end of a playoff game, this is the result. Although in the playoffs, teams usually score at least 30, and the Chargers only managed to score 25. I absolutely embarrassed. Like, I watched the entire game. I mean, I loved it, so don't get me wrong. I laughed. I mean, it kept me awake because I think of people that go into that game somehow thinking the Steelers were going to win. There are people that believed before that game started they were going to win, and it was going to be because of defense, and they were going to shut down Justin Herbert. Yeah, great job with that. Or the offense was going to explode finally. Rodgers was going to throw for 300-plus yards. It isn't going to happen. At some point, you have to realize it will not happen. I mean, it could, but the head coach will never allow it to happen. He will never take the chances necessary to open this up, to be creative, to give the Steelers a shot to try to win a game instead of trying not to lose a game. Because literally that's all they do. They will parade Boswell out there 15 times a game if they can, because they are more than satisfied with that field goal, even though the other team is marching right down the field on them and scoring a touchdown. That's the reality. It has not kicked in what year it is, what decade it is. He still thinks he can win like he did when he got here. And unfortunately, the caliber of player just isn't there because since 2007, buddy, you've been drafting them, and they're not nearly what they were with the team that you inherited back in 2007.
No, Dave, you have to adjust to the league and adjust to the times, and they just don't do that or are too stubborn to do that. And it's a shame because you look around the league and there's a lot of burgeoning young talent, both coaching and on the field, and the Steelers just don't have it, and they don't seem ready, or they don't seem like they even want to attempt to go that route. It's odd. They want to try to win the way they want to win, and it's not working. If their way was working, if they were winning every week 13-10, that'd be great. It'd be boring, but that'd be one thing. If they were 9-0 or 8-1, fine. But they're not. They're 5-4, and the games they've won against good teams, New England and the Colts, gave them the football. I think the Colts game, they took the ball more away. New England just flat out gave them the ball. But I think if you played New England again, you'd probably lose. If you played the Colts again, you'd most likely lose. And there have been some bright spots. I mean, they contained Jefferson in the Vikings game, but when they play a really good receiver, Jamar Chase ate him alive. He might do it again Sunday. Len McConkey ate him alive. So when you're facing formidable offensive weapons, this overpaid defense is not equipped to stop it. And the offense, Rodgers was due for a bad game. It'd be nice if his teammates or the coaching staff could pick him up, but they didn't. So, yeah, I mean, maybe they've hit a wall. 5-4, you are what your record is, and that's what they are. 5-4 is an average record. 5-4 is an average team, and that's what they are.
I agree. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, as you know, I hate to even admit this because of how bad we all were this past week, but every week, all of us here at the station make picks for every game in the National Football League. I don't share them all on air because TJ likes to have this big reveal on Facebook on Friday afternoons, but I will share everyone's pick for the Pittsburgh Steelers game against the Cincinnati Bengals this week. So when we come back, I'll take you through the injury report, and then we will all make our first pick of the week. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Go to 40 Uniontown and trade me in.
John Clinton with Dominic Carbone from your 7-time President's Award-winning 40 Uniontown. Dom, I have exciting news to share. Santa showed up early with a heap of holiday savings. Black Friday sale all month long.
Check out this offer. How about 2025 F-150 XL and XLT models? Save up to $7,000 off and you get these great rates as well. How about 2.9 for 60 months, 3.9 for 72, and only 4.9 for 84? Or get this, you can take advantage of 0% financing for 5 years.
Dang, Dom. Any other holiday cheer you want to throw around?
Well, John, old St. Nick said let's move some Explorers as well. Save up to $3,000 off 2025 Explorer, and these rates will make the Tom the Turkey blush. 2.9 for 60 months, 3.9 for 72, and that's right, 4.9 for 84 months.
Dom, pre-owned? We got them. Over 70 online, and most are certified with factory warranty. Your sleigh knows, shouldn't you? That's 40 Uniontown, on the hill across from Applebee's, or 40uniontown.com. Offer includes all factory incentives, plus finance support letter credit, not all buyers will qualify. Sale ends December 1st.
Point Hill Living Care Home is an all-new personal care home conveniently located in Point Marion and is now accepting new residents. Point Hill Living is committed to providing comfort and support while allowing residents to maintain their independence and enhance their quality of life. With a dedicated staff and experienced advanced care team, Point Hill Living offers fully customized care plans for all residents, while also ensuring a sense of community and engagement, making Point Hill feel like home. Multiple care levels are available, from basic plans to fully customized and enhanced plans, including options for medical monitoring and full-time dedicated assistance. If you are looking for a high-quality care home close to home, look no further than Point Hill Living Care Home at 300 Union Street in Point Marion. Call them today at 724-725-5533 to learn more, or visit them at pointhillliving.com. Point Hill Living Care Home, where our residents are family.
Zen's Antiques and Home Decor, part of the Cinder Shack family of vendors, where you can find both antique and new furniture, collectibles, housewares, gift items including jewelry and candles, and so much more. Follow Zen's Antiques and Home Decor on Facebook for new items and information on upcoming events. Zen's Antiques and Home Decor in Building 2 at 3391 National Pike in Farmington. Zen's Antiques and Home Decor.
I've been thinking about switching primary care providers. It takes forever to get an appointment, and when I finally get in, the staff acts like they don't even care that I'm there.
That's so frustrating. You deserve a provider who listens, values your time, and truly cares about your health.
That's exactly what I need. Someone who sees me as a person, not just another name on a chart.
Then you should check out Montgomery Medical. They treat you like family, offer personalized care, and even have same-day appointments.
At Montgomery Medical, your health is our priority. Call 724-569-8100 Montgomery Medical, a family tradition of family medicine.
Ready to score big on your next home? Well, great news. Huge savings are waiting for you at Clayton Homes of Bell Vernon. From open floor plans perfect for game day parties to energy-efficient homes that will help you save money all season long, these homes are built to deliver. Don't wait on the sidelines. Make the winning play today and find the home that fits your family and lifestyle. Visit Clayton Homes of Bell Vernon at 4500 Route 51.
Mountaintop Title and Notary can handle all of your motor vehicle and PennDOT needs, such as titles, plates, renewal, registrations, and all notary needs. Tina Nicholson of Mountaintop Title and Notary can also handle ATV and boat titles, and also does income taxes. Hours are Monday through Friday, 9:30 to 4:30, and appointments can be made for after hours and Saturdays. Mountaintop Title and Notary with a new location at 655 Nelson Road in Farmington, the only place you need to go for all title, notary, and tax work. Call Tina at 724-984-1514 for the most professional services around.
Welcome back to the Sports Voice. If you're just tuning in, we've been talking about your Pittsburgh Steelers and the debacle that was Sunday Night Football last week against the LA Chargers. I think if there's a game this year that should be used to define the Pittsburgh Steelers season, it's that one. Because there's a team not exactly on the rise. The record, I was surprised when I saw it because I thought that the Chargers looked anything but elite this year. But looking at how they absolutely manhandled the Steelers, you could look back to the Green Bay game as well for that. Nick made references to that when he was talking about it, especially during the second half. I mean, the Steelers aren't even on the same field as these teams. So to have that inflated opinion that this team can go to the postseason and actually compete there, they're not going to be playing they're not playing the Bengals. Like, these aren't teams they're going to be playing. They're not going to play the Browns there. They probably won't play the Colts there either because the Colts are going to be a one and done if they win their division. I think you could tell all you got to do is somehow shut down Jonathan Taylor. The Steelers didn't even shut down Jonathan Taylor. The Colts just decided they weren't going to use him and they were going to do it a different way, and it blew up in their face. So I'm not even giving the Steelers credit for shutting down the run. They didn't attempt to run. So that there's a difference between that. But in the end, it was probably what looked like the best win. And honestly, this past week should have looked like the worst loss. You can say it was the Bengals and Flacco, but at least they were competitive in that game. They moved the ball down the field. They couldn't do anything against the Chargers. By the way, they have some over-the-hill guys like Khalil Mack and Derwin James. Not like they had a bunch of young kids on defense, and the Steelers were just baffled by what they threw at them. So, in the end, you start looking ahead. Oh, what games can we win? When you start talking like that tells me you've got no hope that this team can do anything significant for the duration of the year. Oh, we can beat the Bengals. I love the justification. We can beat the Bengals, and I love when people say we, like they're a member of the team. We can beat the Bengals because they already beat us once. There's the rationale. There's the justification.
Sure.
I'm not hearing anything about what was going to be done differently in this game from the last one, because I guarantee it's going to be almost identical, especially on defense, trying to cover Chase and Higgins. But it's that rationale, like, oh, well, they'll beat the Packers because they always win a game they shouldn't win. Seriously, like, when you're talking like that, how can you legitimately convince anyone that this team is a contender for anything? If you have to justify it that way, you're not telling me what they're doing great. You're not telling me how Aaron Rodgers is going to open up the offense. You're not telling me how Warren's going to run all over anyone. You're not telling me that TJ Watt's going to have multiple sacks or Cam Hayward might just have one. Like, you're not telling me any of that. You're just giving me some sort of analytic breakdown. You should go be the head coach of the Miami Dolphins. You're giving me some analytic breakdown of why it's almost impossible for your team to lose because of these random stats that are thrown out there. To me, makes no sense whatsoever.
Can't disagree with any of that, Dave, and I won't.
Injury report, Scotty Miller, finger, full. Darius Slay with a concussion, did not practice. He's not playing this week. Corey Trice. Why do we even talk about Corey Trice? He hasn't played all year.
He's still on the roster? Wow.
He's still there. Jabril Peppers with the quad. He was full. Cole Holcomb with the illness was limited. Alex Highsmith with the pec, didn't practice. Doesn't matter. If he plays or not, doesn't matter. Isaac Seumalo, the guard with the pec, he was limited. Broderick Jones with the groin is limited. Wonder who pulled that. Jonnu Smith, tight end, he had Veterans Day on Wednesday.
Oh.
You see, you only thought Veterans Day was Tuesday.
Yeah.
He was a full participant today. TJ Watt, who had Veterans Day yesterday, was full today. And Cam Hayward, who had Veterans Day yesterday, was limited today. So glad we give them all this time off because their play certainly dictates it. As well as they've played on the field, they should definitely get 2 to 3 days off each week.
Well, at their age, they need it, or their bodies
they-
will completely fall apart.
They do. Although Rodgers hasn't really taken it.
No.
Which is interesting because he takes more hits than any of them.
Yeah.
It is time to make our first pick of the week. Pittsburgh Steelers, Cincinnati Bengals. I got to look at the spread here.
5.5.
Pittsburgh at home, favored by 5.5. We'll start with Nick.
Yeah, Flacco against Rodgers. We get to see this again. I mean, they were competitive in that Bengal game, even though they lost. But that Bengal defense is so bad. I think the Steelers will bounce back. I could see them losing to the Bears because they look really good. That's the next game on the road. I think they bounce back and win this game by 6-7. Give me the Steelers with the 5.5, Dave.
In addition, I don't think Trey Hendrickson is going to play this week.
Oh,
And
God.
Flacco is limited practice.
Yeah.
He didn't even practice
That defense
yesterday.
is so bad, even with Hendrickson. If he's not out there, good luck.
Looking at the rest of the WMBS personalities picks, TJ DeStefano has taken the Pittsburgh Steelers, so we're 2-0 right now. Matt Sapienza has taken the Pittsburgh Steelers. Josh Kryzik has taken the Pittsburgh Steelers.
First place, Josh, by a lot.
Yes, well, Josh has a huge lead.
Yes, he does.
Bill Madden has taken the Cincinnati Bengals. Brian has taken the Cincinnati Bengals. Another loss for Fraud Tomlin, according to Brian Morozak. And you know what? I'm going to say what everybody else says. There's no way the Pittsburgh Steelers can lose to the Cincinnati Bengals twice in the same year. I'm not going to tell you anything good they do. I'm not going to tell you any legitimate reason why they're going to win. I'm going to tell you that I'm picking the Pittsburgh Steelers because if I pick the Bengals and the Steelers end up winning this game, I'm going to be mad on two different fronts. I'm going to be mad that they lost, and I'm going to be mad that the Steelers covered the spread. So in the end, I'm going to take the Steelers because you know what, Nick? We can't possibly lose 2 games to 40-year-old Joe Flacco.
Pretty good rationale, if you ask me.
Yes, it's the rationale of the masses.
Sure.
Everyone who lives within vicinity where the Pittsburgh Steelers is the team closest to their house, it's the same rationale pretty much for all of them.
Yeah.
That is all the time we have for the first hour of the Sports Voice. I'm stopping a minute early so I can tell you what I didn't talk about already and what's coming up. We've got Major League Baseball hardware being handed out. Paul Skeens of the Pirates, Cy Young winner. Worst team in the National League except for one. Cy Young winner. That tells you where the Pirates are right now. The Pittsburgh Penguins have hit a little bit of a wall. We'll talk about what's going on there. We got to see the debut of Sergei Murashov last weekend, so we'll talk a little bit about that. They've been on hiatus all week. They're in Sweden tomorrow. They play in the afternoon. College football, Nick and TJ super excited. They're going to be at College Game Day because it's at Pitt. Pitt, Notre Dame, but Pat Narduzzi will tell you, game don't really matter. Not really a big game. Doesn't mean anything, according to him. And, of course, we'll make the rest of our picks of the week as we get ready for Week 11 of the National Football League season, which kicks off tonight in Foxborough. So I'm very excited about that game as well. So don't go away. A lot to talk about. We'll be back in a little bit. Time for the top of the hour, CBS News, local news, Sports Voice coming back at you.
Feeling lucky? Your next big jackpot is waiting for you. Visit the casino at Nemacolin in Farmington, PA for the ultimate casino experience featuring the hottest table games, daily promotions, big-time giveaways, and an exciting variety of premium slots. And after, celebrate your big win with a juicy burger at the Royale while you watch the big game. Hotel packages available. Visit CasinoNemacolin.com for more information. The Casino at Nemacolin. Game on. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Route 21 Furniture, take the road to your perfect home.
Sleep well tonight. Try out a new mattress from Route 21 Furniture with a large selection of mattresses, all sizes and comfort levels, with great prices, free local delivery and setup, and financing options. Route 21 Furniture. Open weekdays 9 to 5, Saturday 10 to 5, Sunday noon to 4. 724-737-2222 or Route21Furniture.com.
Route 21 Furniture, take the road to your perfect home.
Franco's Golf Center is open during the winter months, Tuesday through Sunday, starting at 11 a.m., closed Monday. With 2 state-of-the-art simulators, Franco's is your destination for indoor golf. The Full Line Pro Shop is also open for your shopping convenience with gift certificates available. The outdoor range is also open year-round, weather permitting. Call 724-438-6651 to reserve your indoor golf tee times. Franco's is located on Route 21 west of Uniontown. Stop and see them today.
Did you know that you have a choice for your physical therapy provider? NovaCare Rehabilitation offers same-day appointments, and oftentimes you don't need a prescription from your doctor to see us. We will make sure that you are treated as an individual and will work directly one-on-one with you to help achieve your goals. You have tried the rest, now try the best. NovaCare, Delaware Avenue in Uniontown. Phone 724-437-0556 to schedule your appointment today.
Your local station, 590 and 101.1 W266DB, WMBS Uniontown, 51 outside of our Davis & Davis studios. As the sun goes down, CBS News at 5 o'clock is on the way next. Then the local news in the second hour of the Sports Voice with Dave Dunaway on WMBS. It's 5 o'clock.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Cammie McCormick. There's some catching up to do after the long government shutdown. CBS's Nicole Killian is on Capitol Hill.
Federal government is open for business. Workers are back on the job here at the Capitol. The Visitor Center just reopened to tours. I saw a huge tour group not too long ago. We haven't seen those in more than a month.
There were some flight delays again today. Tom Hansen is at Newark Airport in New Jersey.
That it has been quite a mess for a lot of travelers. As far as TSA and air traffic control goes, they're still waiting, many of them, for those paychecks, that back pay. They have been put through the ringer over the last several weeks, making impossible decisions about whether to work without pay, take a second job, spend their money on gas, spend their money on food.
President Trump has been presented with some ideas for the way ahead in Venezuela. CBS's Jennifer Jacobs reports.
Senior military officials on Wednesday presented President Trump with updated options for potential operations in Venezuela, including strikes on land. Sources familiar with the meetings at the White House said Secretary of War Pete Hegseth, Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff Dan Kane, and others briefed the president on military options for the coming days. No final decision has been made.
The Justice Department has sued to block new congressional district boundaries approved by California voters. Legal analyst Lori Levinson.
California is likely to defend by saying we followed all of the California rules for redistricting. We ran it by the voters as the Constitution in California requires, and therefore there really is no legal basis for the Justice Department to try to stop these new districts from being used during the midterm elections.
On Starbucks Red Cup Day, more than 1,000 unionized workers took to the picket lines.
No contract, no coffee. No worker, no Starbucks. No contract, no coffee.
A majority of Boeing defense workers have voted to end their strike over wages and retirement benefits. Just in time for the holiday shopping season, Google is promoting the use of AI to help you get everything on your list. Tech contributor Ian Scher.
One of the places where technology can really help with shopping is price comparisons. And Google says it's built an AI that will go that next step, that it will actually watch for specific items you're interested in and automatically buy them when the price gets to a certain point that you're willing to pay.
On Wall Street today, stocks finished lower. The Dow was off 797 points. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Take the fact book.
Caring for an aging parent or a loved one with medical needs? Fact. Fayette Area Coordinated Transportation can help. Seniors 65 and older ride free on our fixed routes. People with disabilities get discounted shared rides. And if your loved one has medical assistance, their trips to doctors or treatment are covered under the shared ride program. Give them safe, reliable independence and yourself peace of mind. Call 724-628-RIDE or visit factbus.com. Fact. Your community, your connection.
It's a new day at WVU Medicine Uniontown Hospital, and we're bringing a new level of quality healthcare to our community. From primary care to specialty services, our team has always put patients first. And now, thanks to our merger with WVU Medicine, our commitment to patient-centered care has grown even stronger. With new resources, a growing staff, and advanced technology, our team is here to provide you with top-quality care when it matters most. Discover the new Uniontown Hospital and see how we've grown.
Two of Hollywood's top stars are going into business with a company to clone their unique voices for AI.
Oscar-winning actors Michael Caine and Matthew McConaughey have partnered with voice cloning company 11 Labs. Caine's famous, of course, for his Cockney accent.
I have a rhythm to my voice, which is what makes it sound like me. That's what it is.
Then there's McConaughey.
All right.
And his languid twang.
Life's not fair. It never was. It isn't now, and it won't ever be.
Caine says the technology celebrates humanity by amplifying voices, not replacing them. McConaughey plans to use the AI to voice his newsletter in Spanish. Michael Toscano, CBS News.
The Golden Globes have announced actress Sarah Jessica Parker is the winner of the Carol Burnett Award. It highlights her impact on popular culture and television. Parker's best known for her role as Carrie Bradshaw on Sex and the City. Past recipients include Ellen DeGeneres. I'm Cammie McCormick, CBS News.
The award-winning local, district, and statewide news is being brought to you by Ultimate Structures, offering customized sheds, cabins, and metal buildings. Ultimate Structures is ready to design what you desire. Call today, 724-415-0020.
And a very good afternoon, 51, as the sun goes down at 5:05 on a Thursday. I'm Nick Barczyk from the Davis & Davis Studios. Davis & Davis Attorneys at Law. Injured, our team is ready to fight for you. Your local station, 590 and 101.1 WMBS. The Weather Watch and sports on the way. Pennsylvania House and Senate passed a roughly $50 billion budget this week that will get money flowing to public schools and social services around the Keystone State again. After months of delay, Governor Shapiro signed key budget bills, ending a stalemate that had lasted since July. The over $50 billion budget was over 2%, or make that over $2 billion higher, or nearly 5% higher than the previous fiscal year. Highlights include growth in funding for certain school districts, as well as a 4.1% combined increase in the Pennsylvania State Police's budget. U.S. House members in the area voted along party lines on the funding measure to end the government shutdown last night. Congressman Scott Perry, Lloyd Smucker, Dan User, and John Joyce joined the GOP majority in passing the legislation, while most Democrats, including Congresswoman Chrissy Houlihan, voted no. Dems refused to pass the bill for over 40 days, saying it must contain legislation that extends the Affordable Care Act Obamacare tax credits, which are set to expire soon. President Trump signed the bill last night, officially ending the shutdown. Pennsylvania Senator John Fetterman has been hospitalized after a fall during a walk in Allegheny County, which caused minor injuries to his face. His spokesman said Fetterman fell to the ground after feeling lightheaded, which was due to an irregular heartbeat. Fetterman is remaining at a Pittsburgh hospital for observation so doctors can fine-tune his medications. Fetterman suffered a stroke during his campaign for the Senate in 2022 and was also hospitalized the following year for lightheadedness. A medical expert is offering tips on lowering the chances of getting Alzheimer's disease.
November is Alzheimer's Awareness Month. Sandra Darling, who specializes in preventative medicine at the Cleveland Clinic, says the focus should be on foods that will provide optimal nutrients like fiber, antioxidants, and healthy fats. She recommends what's called the MIND diet, which consists of mainly plant-based foods, nuts, whole grains, and beans. Research from Rush University in Chicago found when people follow the MIND diet, it lowers the risk of Alzheimer's compared to people who were not following it. I'm Michael Kastner.
The Pittsburgh region, which includes Fayette and Greene, is being named as one of the best places in America to go for Thanksgiving. Wallet-Hub ranked 100 cities and metro areas around the country, such as the cost on metrics like the cost of Thanksgiving dinner, the average number of delayed flights, volunteer chances, and forecasted precipitation. Pittsburgh region ranked the 22nd best to celebrate Thanksgiving in. The top spot went to San Antonio, followed by Atlanta, Virginia Beach, Dallas, and Scottsdale, Arizona. Sports and weather next on WMPS.
Hey everyone, this is Josh Krysak here letting you know that it's not too late to purchase a shed, carport, or building due to the cold weather that's upon us. Ron from Ultimate Structures will explain.
Here at Ultimate Structures, we go full-time, year-round to service our customers. Don't let the cold weather discourage you from purchasing the storage building for your needs. Our manufacturers and installation crews keep chugging through the cold weather. There may be minor delays due to snow and ice, but you can be assured every attempt will be made to get your building up and ready to protect your valuables.
That is great news to hear, Ron. Our listeners can still purchase a shed, carport, garage, or building to fit their needs.
Customers can call me anytime to discuss their needs at 724-557-3281. That's 724-557-3281. We can sit down and design what you desire. Come out to our mega lot to view models to fulfill your dreams. We are Ultimate Structures, satisfying Fayette County customers since 2007.
In sports, Pitt basketball at 6. They're in Morgantown taking on the Mountaineers of West Virginia. Then NFL at 8, Jets Patriots. Tomorrow we'll bring you Clemson Louisville. Then Pitt Notre Dame along with Georgia Texas Saturday. Steelers Bengals at 1 o'clock Sunday on WMBS. Lions Eagles in the evening, so plenty of action this weekend. Paul Skeens winning the National League Cy Young Award last night for the Pirates. The Pirates pitcher winning the Cy Young. And the newly released 2028 Olympic event schedule boosts the chances of Major League Baseball players competing in the Olympics. Dodger Stadium could be the site of MLB players taking the field in the Olympic competition for the first time since 2000. The new schedule has Olympic baseball starting on July 13th, a day before the opening ceremony for the Los Angeles Games.
The local district and statewide news was brought to you by Ultimate Structures, just outside of Perryopolis on Route 51 southbound. Call them today at 724-415-0020 to find the shed, cabin, or metal building that meets your needs.
This weather report being brought to you by Montgomery Medical. Trust their 50 years of combined experience for the best results in primary care, newborns to elderly, minor illness or injury, as well as wellness and physical exams. And now the weather.
Right now at 51 degrees, actually updating it, dropping to 48 right now. Overnight low tonight 32, clouds and sun Friday, high at 58, warming up to 64 on Saturday with a chance of showers and thunderstorms, and clearing out Sunday with sun, high at 47, low at freezing 32, 45 with sun Monday. Tuesday, rain moving in, maybe some light snow flurries, high at 44, low at 34 in the evening. Wednesday at 48. Right now 48 degrees at 5:11 on a Thursday. Good afternoon, I'm Nick Barczyk. Second hour of the Sports Voice with Dave Dunaway next on WMPS.
This weather report was brought to you by Montgomery Medical, a family tradition of family medicine. Same-day appointments available for acute care. Call 724-569-8100 or visit montymed.com to schedule your appointment.
Good evening. This is Chris Felicki of Janney Montgomery Scott here in Uniontown, bringing you today's closing stock market report. The Dow Jones Industrial Average was down 797.6 points, closing at 47,457. The NASDAQ Composite was down 536.1 points, closing at 22,870. And the S&P 500 Index was down 113.4 points, closing at 6,737. Among companies of local interest, Apple, $272.95, down 52 cents. Amazon, $237.58, down $6.62. Cisco, $77.38, up $3.42. Boeing, $194.57, down 93 cents. Caterpillar, $553.57, down $19.45. Disney, $107.59, down $9.06. ExxonMobil, $118.80, up 68 cents. First Energy, $45.72, down 62 cents. Johnson & Johnson, $195.29, up 90 cents. Home Depot, $368.07, down $3.07. Intel, $35.91, down $1.98. McDonald's, $307.57, up 63 cents. Meta Platforms, $609.89, up 88 cents. PNC Financial Services, $184.03, down $2.88. Raytheon Technologies, $173.98, down $3.71. Rockwell Automation, $379.58, down $14.96. Tesla, $401.99, down $28.61. Verizon, $41.10, up 31 cents. Walmart, $102.57, down 87 cents. Recapping, the Dow Jones Industrial Average was down 797.6 points, closing at 47,457. The Nasdaq Composite was down 536.1 points, closing at 22,870. And the S&P 500 index was down 113.4 points, closing at 6,737. From the Uniontown office of Janney Montgomery Scott, LLC, member FINRA, NYSE, SIPC, where we serve all your investment needs, this is Chris Felicki.
One of the most incredible architectural masterpieces in the United States is right here in Fayette County. And this fall is your chance to see the work being done to preserve this national treasure as work continues to fortify Frank Lloyd Wright's Falling Water, a world-famous work of architecture that's on the UNESCO World Heritage List. Falling Water invites you to Fayette County Appreciation Day on Sunday, November 23rd to see their multi-year historic preservation effort in action, in addition to the always breathtaking home itself. Falling Water is offering free tours for Fayette County residents on Sunday, November 23rd. Book your free tour of Falling Water in advance by calling 724-329-8501. Falling Water's Preservation in Action tours will take place between 9:30 a.m. and 4 p.m. Be sure to make your reservation in advance and don't miss your chance to witness this once-in-a-lifetime preservation tour of Frank Lloyd Wright's Falling Water. Oak Pizza in downtown Uniontown is your one-stop shop for the most unique pizzas in the region. From the masterminds behind the Fat Angelo's franchise, Oak Pizza is the laboratory where the Fat Angelo's food scientists test their creations and let you be the judge. With traditional favorites like pepperoni and buffalo chicken pizzas to more experimental offerings like the sesame seed-infused Mad Pie or the spicy chicken pickle pizza, Oak has you covered. Order today at oakpizzas.com or by calling 724-439-5805. Your taste buds will thank you.
Your local station, 590 WMBS. I hear voices in my head.
Welcome to part 2 of the Sports Voice. Ahead on this hour, literally everything besides the Pittsburgh Steelers. I've exhausted myself from all of the Steeler talk during the first hour. We got through it. We looked ahead. We picked the game. So move forward from that. Still a lot more to talk about with the National Football League. Looks like Lamar Jackson practiced today, so apparently he's going to play this week against Cleveland. So another game that has implications on the AFC North. So we'll get through that, look at a little bit about what took place last week, some surprises, as always, and some pretty good matchups this week. At the end of the show, we will make our picks of the week for Week 11. In addition to that, we'll talk college football, pretty big game. Well, it depends on who you ask. Don't ask Pat Narduzzi, but if you ask literally anyone else, pretty big game at Acrisure Stadium this week prior to a Steeler game. This is Pitt Notre Dame. We know the place will be packed. It'll be mostly Notre Dame fans, but it'll still be packed. And it's one of the biggest games the Steelers have played in really in this century. They've made themselves up to number 22 in the rankings. Notre Dame is 9. This is about as big of a game as Pitt can play in the ACC. We'll look at some other games also on the slate this week in college football. Major League Baseball handing out its hardware all week. The MVPs will be handed out shortly after we go off the air for both American League and National League. We'll talk about the Rookies of the Year, the Cy Young winners, and the Managers of the Year, which all were handed out prior to today. The Pittsburgh Penguins getting ready for, what is it? Is it the International? I forget what it's called. It's called something, but they're playing in Sweden tomorrow. It's morning in Sweden. It's 2 o'clock in the afternoon here in America. The Penguins, a little bit of a different, I guess, look maybe. When you look at those rinks in Europe, sometimes they look a little different from the rinks in America. We know they play a different style of hockey in Europe, so it should be fun. NHL does this all the time, so it is kind of cool for them to get a little bit of exposure. They really struggle getting exposure in this country, so hopefully going to other countries may help them to get a little more recognizable. No sport relies on the revenue of the gate more than the NHL does. But the Penguins are playing Nashville. Looks like Arturs Shilovs will be in net for the Penguins. And it's been a while. They've been off literally all week. So travel time, prep time, get ready to go. And, the Penguins, they've struggled a little bit as of late. They've hit that little bit of a wall, which I think we knew was coming. I think if you look at the Penguins, you probably could have said even early on, this is not really a playoff team. We've got our stars at the tail end of their career. And then they came out and they looked impressive right out of the gate. But injuries have happened. Justin Brazeau, who was the star early on, he's been down for a couple of games. You look at other injuries that have racked up. Ricard Raquel is going to be out for a while. The blood clot of Philip Hollander. Tristan Jarry is on the shelf. So definitely cycling through some of the talent that exists in Wilkes-Barre Scranton. But there have been, I think, some really good surprises for this team. Number one, first-round pick Ben Kindle. No one even thought he was going to make the team when camp started. Had a very strong second half of camp, a very strong preseason, and has earned his spot on this roster at this point. Others who have looked good, how about Anthony Mantha? Not only has he recovered from knee surgery and excelled at it, but he actually got himself into a little bit of a fight a couple of days ago when Tommy Novak was basically destroyed by Washington's Brendan Dillon. Mantha came in and stuck up for him, something I don't think we saw at all during the Mike Sullivan regime. So tons of credit to Mantha and Dan Muse for changing a little bit of the culture here in Pittsburgh. In addition to that, Evgeny Malkin. I know it's early in the season. He still takes some bad penalties, but I think Malkin looks a little bit renewed. When he had those skyscrapers on the line with him, it definitely helped a lot. Obviously, Brazeau is hurt, but Malkin has continued to push forward, and he doesn't look anywhere near as bad as what he looked the last couple of years. Erik Karlsson. I mean, there's a guy that you really didn't see much out of in almost 2 years as a Pittsburgh Penguin. He's playing better this year than he's played for quite a while. Made some comments a couple of days ago about how he did not really care for the person or the coaching style of Mike Sullivan. So it looks like he's a little renewed with what's going on. The fourth line, primarily Blake Lizotte and Connor Dewar. Those two have they're all heart, they're all hustle. They have played extremely well. And it's nice to see a fourth line go out there and not just rack up double-digit minuses like we've become accustomed to with the Pittsburgh Penguins. And, of course, Sidney Crosby. I mean, Sidney Crosby is this franchise, has been for quite some time. You look at the numbers, you look at what he's putting up. When you look at this advanced age in hockey, the last thing that you're expecting is to see numbers like this. Sidney Crosby right now with 11 goals leads the team, which is definitely, maybe we expected that. Maybe we didn't expect that. It's hard to say, but you keep thinking, well, this guy's getting 1 year older. This guy's getting 1 year older. But in the end, he doesn't drop off. The play, the skills, all of it is still there. He's currently tied for fourth in the National Hockey League with 11. Nathan McKinnon, his best friend, has 14. He's the goal leader. Then Bo Horvat of the Islanders, Cole Caulfield of Montreal, they each have 12. Don't forget, Crosby hasn't played for a week either. And there's Crosby tied with a couple Ducks, Leo Carlsson and Cutter Gauthier with 11. So kudos to all of that. Malkin has 18 assists thus far this year. He is I'm trying to think where he is in the NHL with assists. He's got to be up there as well. So looking at what it brings to the table, we're seeing a nice mixture at this point of young and old. We got to see the debut of Sergei Murashov on Sunday. Didn't quite work out as well as the Penguins had hoped. They blew a lead, end up losing 3-2, but he definitely looked like he has what it takes to be a starter and a legitimate threat as a starter in today's NHL. Losing to the Kings, losing to the Devils. They did get a win against Washington, lost to the Leafs and Jets, so they have lost 4 of their last 5. But when you start looking at that, there are some loser points that were racked up in those games. They did decide this week to start practicing the shootout. That's a good sign. They decided they're going to take a look at others who also could attempt to shoot out instead of just the same old guys who've had the same old moves for the last 20 years. They're actually going to try to put some different people out there. That's a huge sign. You can't play as hard as they play, end up tied, go into overtime, end up tied, and then just automatically lose the shootout because you don't practice it. Sullivan never practiced it. Muse decides he's going to. They actually have put a little more emphasis on overtime as well because they know how bad they are at the shootout. They're going to try some different things 3-on-3 to try to win the game there so they don't have to rely on the potential of a loss in a shootout. Right now, the Penguins are in third place in the Metro, New Jersey in first with 25 points, Carolina with 22, and the Penguins right there with 21. They've also played less games. Well, they played less games than Carolina, not New Jersey. But in the end, it'll all work itself out for your Penguins. 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon versus Nashville in Sweden. Nick, are you excited with where the Penguins are? I guess maybe the better question is, are you surprised?
Yeah, absolutely. I've seen some of their games, and yeah, they're better than I thought they would be, and the new goaltender looks intriguing, and yeah, it's a new system, it's a new coach. You thought it would take time to work its way out, but they have a nice mixture of younger guys and older guys, and Crosby and Malkin still look good, as you mentioned. So yeah, I'm surprised pleasantly, so we'll see how things go. It's still very early.
And I feel like I should add, Harrison Brunick is still on the roster, but apparently the Penguins do not have to make a decision quite yet. The rationale behind it is once they play 9 games, they either have to stay in the NHL or be assigned back to juniors. But there is a loophole in that because if you are on an NHL team and are scratched 5 games in a row, then you can be sent to AHL, to Wilkes-Barre. The Penguins might utilize that. It's hard to say. They haven't really said anything about it. Brunick hasn't been at the pace Kindle has been at thus far. Kindle was an easy keep. Brunick maybe not so easy, but they have had injuries on defense. I would keep him if I were them. I would keep him in the NHL the whole time. I would at least try to figure out a way to maybe get him to Wilkes-Barre because then he could be called up again before the end of the season. If he goes back to juniors, you've lost him. He's there for the entire year. So I'm curious to see what they do with that. And as the injuries continue to rack up, I mean, we saw Danton Heinen and Ryan Graves come up. Will they call up some of the younger players that they have at Wilkes-Barre? Although Ryan Graves looked better in 2 games than he looked for an entire year last year with the Penguins. So I will give credit for that. I give a lot of credit to Muse. I think he's a great coach. I think he's a great teacher, which makes him a great coach. To get this record right now out of this team that basically had trouble doing anything that revolved around scoring goals last year is an accomplishment within itself. So congratulations to the Penguins. I'd love to see a win tomorrow on foreign soil in a different continent, in a different country. Pens, Predators, 2 o'clock in the afternoon from Sweden. Switching over to the Major League Baseball awards ceremonies that have been taking place all week. It was maybe a little more intriguing for our area last night because most people, no matter how bad they are, root for the team closest to their house, and that just so happens to be the Pittsburgh Pirates, and a little bit of hardware handed out to a Pirate. Normally they get one of those gold gloves. Usually it's Ke'Bryan Hayes, but he's now a Red. He did get one, but he's a Red. So the Pirates probably thinking, will we be shut out? We didn't get our utility gold glove from Jared Triolo this year.
Triolo didn't win one?
No, he didn't. Another utility guy who never plays won an insignificant award this year. But the Pirates, they got a significant award, and it's one we kind of expected. I'm honestly surprised he didn't win it last year, but I guess they settled for, we'll just give you Rookie of the Year, and then we'll figure out how to figure out the Cy Young the next year. It's intriguing because Paul Skeens was 10-10, but he was the ERA leader. The Pirates are terrible. They were last in their division, second to worst in the National League. The fact that he wins a Cy Young should be a huge statement on the ineptitude of this organization to put any talent whatsoever around him to try to do something legitimate. But Paul Skeens is the best pitcher in the National League, probably the best pitcher in all of baseball, even though Tarek Skubal won his 2nd straight. If Skeens was in the American League, he probably would have won it there too because he would have been playing for the Yankees, I guess. Reports denied today by Skeens, if you didn't hear, that the Yankees were interested. They're ready to make a trade for him now instead of waiting a couple years until he comes there anyways. Skeens said he doesn't know where that report came from. He's focused on the Pirates. Can't imagine how you could possibly focus on the Pirates. Maybe they'll be next to last place next year. They apparently have been throwing around some hints. The GMs of the Pirates and Marlins talking about, hey, we might actually spend a little more money next year. I'll believe that when I see it. I've heard it before. It didn't happen. But needless to say, no matter how much longer you have him, I'll say this about the area. You better appreciate him because this is the best pitcher, a generational talent, the best pitcher in Major League Baseball, maybe the best in some time. And there aren't many years left, no matter what bill of goods the Pirates try to sell you. There aren't many years left that you're going to see Paul Skeens in black and gold.
No, there's not. Enjoy it while it lasts, and certainly he's been phenomenal. He should have won it last year. You're right, best pitcher in baseball, and it's a shame that he's on that team and that Major League Baseball can't properly market him. The playoffs were amazing. The World Series was awesome. The playoffs would have been even better with Skeens. Skubal was able to show off his talent in the playoffs, but Skeens can't where he is right now.
And Skubal is extremely impressive.
Yes.
He's an absolute great pitcher, a stud for the Detroit Tigers,
he
who
is.
also don't have a lot of money, but they seem to find enough to put a legitimate team around him so they can make it to the playoffs. Skeens doesn't have that, and it's a shame because you're wasting. I mean, this guy's a Cy Young winner with a .500 record. That should tell you alone how great he is. And the Pirates just waste these years because they're cheap and they don't want to spend any more money. The entire organization is built around putting money back into it and making it more wealthy and making it more wealthy, that they lose sight of the fact that you could make money by winning, because when they did win, albeit by accident for 3 years, a decade ago, they raked in a bunch of profit, but I guess not enough to offset the little bit of extra money that they spent.
You're right. Yeah, it's a shame that they can't do more with him. I mean, when you have the best pitcher in baseball, you should be able to do something with that, but they've seemed to have gotten worse, Dave, and it's a shame. It's ridiculous.
It is a shame. And unfortunately, as we said with the Steelers earlier, it's a shame that's going to continue for the foreseeable future, because Nick made the comment off the air a little while ago, you can't fire the owner.
Yeah.
And in the end, that's the biggest issue here, because of the ineptitude that exists within the organization. It was all created by this guy. There was an opportunity to get rid of the GM, who has done literally nothing in his entire tenure since 2020. They've not had a good free agent signing. They've not won a trade. And they, outside of Skeens, haven't had a draft pick that's legitimately materialized into a star on this team. So without that, what do you have? As a small market team, you're not going to go out and spend a lot of money. You can't go into free agency and just bring in and buy a World Series team like the Dodgers did. You've got to spend wisely, invest wisely, promote when it's time to promote, draft, develop. You have to do all of those things, and they're not really good at any of that. So how anybody can think for a second that there's a legit chance for this team to win in the foreseeable future, even if they do get a little better this year and a little better next year, Skeens is going to be gone. And you're going to lose your blue chip that could potentially take you on a playoff run. So it is a shame. It's a shame for him. I hope he's wearing Dodger blue in a couple of years, probably going to be wearing pinstripes in New York. But in the end, if there's one thing we're pretty much sure of, he won't be wearing a black and gold Pittsburgh Pirate uniform, because whatever it's going to take to sign him, they won't even be close. They'll tell you how they're in on it. And they'll say, well, we're going to trade him now so we get something, and we're going to sign him as a free agent after the fact. None of that's going to be true. None of that's going to be real. And give it a little bit of time. They're going to be talking about Bubba Chandler and Connor Griffin and Esmerlin Valdez and Tony Blanco and the next wave of Pirates that are coming in hopes that you forget that right now the best pitcher in baseball plays his home games at PNC Park.
Yeah, and they should have been able to do more already with them, but with the year or two they have left with them, because he's not going to stick around, they've blown it, basically, is all I can say. They've blown their opportunity with him, and I don't see them doing anything in 2026. Maybe you're right, they'll finish next to last in the NL Central. That's our only hope.
Well, if we look at our awards that have been handed out already, as we just told you, the American League Cy Young winner was Tarek Skubal of the Detroit Tigers. The National League Cy Young winner, Paul Skeens of your Pittsburgh Pirates. The American League Rookie of the Year, Nick Kurtz. That's a great story. He wasn't even on a roster. He was in the minors when the year started, overtaking teammate Jacob Wilson. There you go, the A's. They don't even have a city, and they have better young talent than the Pittsburgh Pirates. Now, they will be in Vegas here shortly, but still, to be able to do that, an organization in shambles, and they're able to go out and draft and develop better than the Pittsburgh Pirates.
It's a shame.
In the National League, the Rookie of the Year, Drake Baldwin, really good year, catcher for the Atlanta Braves, hit almost 300 for the bulk of the year. Managers of the Year, both repeats, which is always nice to see. You've got Stephen Vogt of the Cleveland Guardians, and you've got Pat Murphy of the Milwaukee Brewers.
Yeah, both had great regular seasons. Both made the playoffs. But,
those are large market teams, right?
Absolutely. Cleveland and Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Certainly a World Series baseball doesn't want to see.
Cleveland's not far from your house.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
I've been up there for games.
I mean, not as close as Pittsburgh, but
yeah,
it's close. The MVP finalists, we will have this announcement at 7 o'clock tonight. In the American League, it's between Jose Ramirez of the Guardians, Aaron Judge of the Yankees, and the phenomenon this year, Cal Raleigh of the Seattle Mariners. Any predictions on this thing?
It'll go to Raleigh. I mean, Judge is the big market favorite, but yeah, Raleigh will get it, I think.
I'm going to go with Judge, only because Raleigh was just about home runs.
Yeah.
Like, that's really all you talked about with him. Although with as many as he hit, it's going to be hard not to give it to him.
Well, Judge is pretty home run dependent as well.
Yeah, but he usually hits like 300 something.
That's true.
I don't know what he hit this year. I couldn't tell you, but he's usually up around the leaders in the batting also. I'm gonna stay with Judge. I have a strong feeling it's going to be Raleigh too. I'm going to stay with Judge. In the National League, I don't think there's really any debate here. You've got Juan Soto of the Mets. How is Kyle Schwarber an MVP finalist?
I don't know.
The fact that I'm even asking that should pretty much state that we know the winner already.
It's Ohtani.
Shohei Ohtani of the Dodgers. I can't imagine it being anybody besides Ohtani.
He may win it every year he plays the rest of the way. Ohtani,
with the
for
pitching
sure.
on top of the hitting.
He could win the Cy Young one. No, he couldn't. But yeah, I mean, he's a pitcher. He's a hitter. That playoff performance, I know it's a regular season award, but just amazing. What Ohtani and Yamamoto did for the Dodgers, legendary. Ohtani is your MVP.
I agree with that 100%. Not a whole lot else happening. The winter meetings are coming up, shortly, right after Thanksgiving, normally. Isn't that when
GM meetings just wrapped up, winter meetings coming up, yeah.
So we'll be talking free agency, and the Pirates can start trying to fill your head with all the potential free agents they're going to sign, and they'll get ready with their excuses when they sign somewhere else, telling you how they just missed out on it. They had the second best offer in, but unfortunately, insert player's name here, took the other offer.
Hate when that happens, don't you?
Hate when it happens. College football. I'll let you go first on this because I know you're super excited.
Notre Dame.
You're going to be in attendance this week.
Well, game day will be there. I'll have the cardboard cutout. I'll hold it up. Maybe I'll get on a cheerleader's shoulders and stand up. It'll be fun, Dave.
Are you going to be a guest commentator on game day?
Yeah, I'm a guest picker with Pat McAfee.
Nice.
That'll be fun.
And TJ will be there too?
Absolutely.
Wow, we're going to be well represented from WMBS.
Absolutely. Some Notre Dame fans going. So, yeah, it'll be fun. They'll be probably mostly Notre Dame fans.
So realistically, I get Narduzzi's already trying to play this off like it's no big deal. He's basically giving his concession speech for when they lose. Notre Dame is a 12.5-point favorite. But you look at the storyline with Pitt. You look at this, what's his name, Heinschel, the quarterback.
Yes.
Huge surprise. Great recruit, I guess, for Narduzzi and Pitt. Of course, the big question now is, will he be there next year? But when you look at Pitt kind of turning the corner a little bit, a bad loss to Louisville that they blew the game, an even worse loss to West Virginia at the Backyard Brawl, but they're on a little bit of a streak. They're hot. Realistically, is there any chance at all? They are at home, even though it'll probably look like it's in South Bend. Can they beat Notre Dame?
No, they'll keep it close maybe for a little while, but no, Notre Dame's just a better team with a better coaching staff, and yeah, that line's 12 for a reason, so they'll keep it close, but Notre Dame should win this comfortably, I think.
Well, Pitt does have one advantage.
What's
that?
The
game is on ABC.
Oh.
So West Virginia's not bringing their TV station with them.
Notre Dame.
Or, yes, Notre Dame's not bringing their TV station with them.
Correct, they're not.
So that might be helpful.
That could be. Well, I never thought of it like that.
Well, now that you're thinking that. But the kid that's the quarterback, he's a freshman, correct? This Carr kid.
CJ Carr.
Yeah, 19 touchdowns, 4 interceptions.
Good
as a freshman.
Yeah, good ratio.
That's impressive. And Notre Dame played some really tough teams early in the year.
They did.
Started, 0-2 or something like that?
They started slow, but they started slow. They played Navy last week. That was a good tune-up.
Yes. So all of a sudden they've gotten hot as well. And Marcus Freeman still holding out hope. Maybe he'll say, hey, I want to go to Penn State next year. I doubt it. But
or to the NFL. You never
still
know.
hope. You never know. But I think he's got a great situation there.
He's not leaving Notre Dame.
No, I think Notre Dame head and shoulders is above Pitt, but you never know. Pitt can surprise you here and there, so it should be interesting. We've got some other good games on the docket as well, including Alabama-Oklahoma, and Georgia-Texas.
Those are good ones. We'll see how Arch does in a big nighttime spot against Georgia, and I like Alabama to beat Oklahoma, but those are good games.
I am surprised Texas is back to 10th. I'll give them credit for fighting their way back there because they had dropped totally out of the top 25 early in the season. So I will give them credit. It makes me question the standings, though, because that was a team I never thought would make it back to the top 10, nor did I think they deserved to be back to the top 10.
No.
But when you look at the fluctuation that's been happening in the top 10, I mean, teams get up there and they lose instantly, and they're right back out. I mean, we've seen teams up and down all year. Look what happened to LSU. LSU's nowhere to be found.
Right.
They lose again to Alabama this past weekend. And, of course, Penn State, well under 500. They've lost, 6 in a row or something like that at this point. So Alabama-Oklahoma should be a good one. You're looking at maybe a battle of Heisman contenders there with Simpson and Mateer. I think right now Mendoza's got that thing locked up, and they don't have to play Ohio State, which is probably even better for them getting through the regular part of the college football season. But there should be some exciting games, some interesting games, and, of course, kicking it off right at noon, Notre Dame at Pitt with Nick Barczyk and TJ DiStefano in there in attendance and maybe on commentary. We'll have to wait and see.
Absolutely. I'll have the Pitt head on. It'll be great. The Panther
Absolutely got it covered for us. Yes, we need to know what's going on at all times as far as what's happening. Let's take a break. When we come back, we'll look at some other stories that are circulating around the league, and then we'll get to the National Football League. A lot to talk about, a lot of picks to make, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
For professional cleaning services, Clean & Shine in New Stanton is the place for you. They provide commercial and residential cleaning, porter services, carpet cleaning, stripping and waxing, construction cleanups, and car cleaning. For free estimates, call 724-691-0413, email info@cleanandshine14.org, or visit their website, cleanandshine14.org. We clean so you can shine.
Hey, you looking for a quality pre-owned vehicle? Well, look no more, because with over 200 vehicles, Gary's Auto Sales is the largest used car dealer in the area. Whether you want a car, a truck, or an SUV, you'll absolutely find what you're looking for at Gary's. Gary's has been in business since 1974. You can visit them online at Gary'sAutoSales.com, or you can give them a call at 724-626-8080. Gary's Auto Sales. Many miles, many smiles.
Franco's Golf Center is open during the winter months, Tuesday through Sunday, starting at 11 a.m., closed Monday. With 2 state-of-the-art simulators, Franco's is your destination for indoor golf. The Full Line Pro Shop is also open for your shopping convenience with gift certificates available. The outdoor range is also open year-round, weather permitting. Call 724-438-6651 to reserve your indoor golf tee times. Franco's is located on Route 21 west of Uniontown. Stop and see them today.
If you're ready for a dental makeover or in need of basic dental care, the office of Dr. Mark Rabatin is right for you. Dr. Rabatin uses the latest advancement in the industry to achieve comprehensive care that will preserve your smile for years to come by providing general dentistry services. Call today to schedule your appointment at their modern office, located in the Fayette Business Park, 724-437-4991, for the fine art of dentistry.
When you are looking to make some extra cash for your aluminum cans, visit Cherokee Recycling, where aluminum can is king. Cherokee Recycling is open Monday through Friday 9 to 4:30 and Saturdays 8 to 12 noon, closed Sundays and holidays. Give Marcus or Rags a call today, 724-439-3228 for Cherokee Recycling, where recycling makes the most sense.
Welcome back to the Sports Voice. We're at the final segment of the show, which means we pretty much talk about the NFL for the entire time. There are a few stories out there. The first one revolving around ex-Pittsburgh Steeler wide receiver Antonio Brown. I guess they found him in Dubai and had to extradite him back to America. He was placed in jail. He's on suspicion of attempted murder. That's why he left the country in the first place. They did release him from jail. He made bail, and now he awaits trial. Can't believe it, Nick. What such a nice guy. They had to get something wrong here.
Great, wholesome man.
He's claiming he was set up, so it should be interesting to see how that all plays itself out. Another week, another disappointing performance from the Philadelphia Eagles. Another round of complaints from wide receiver A.J. Brown. Brown not happy with his use, with the team, with the system, with the offense. And we know he's not afraid to tell you about it. So remember the good old days when he would just sit and read a book? Now all of a sudden he's going to be very, very upset. And he says he's not sorry for whatever stir he created in doing it. By the way, what is wrong with Philadelphia? I mean, 10-7. I couldn't figure out what they were even trying to do. I mean, yeah, they made mistakes.
Green Bay, what's wrong with them?
Green Bay was more baffling because they just tried to run the entire game even when it wasn't working.
Yeah,
it was
Jacobs.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't even attempt to have Love throw the ball downfield.
That was odd.
Two very confusing game plans from two of the best teams in the NFC. So I could see if you're a star player on one of those teams, I can see why you'd be angry at the performance that was put out there. And by the way, on Monday Night Football for the entire country to see.
Yeah, that was rough. But they're both playoff teams, and I think the Eagles could win the Super Bowl again. They just have they're odd. They're not a team.
Amon-Ra St. Brown, was there a fist fight that took place in that game?
Yeah, the Lions commanders, Dan Campbell taking over play calling, and there was a little fight as the Lions trounced Washington. But
yeah, a little
they're a fun offense, and that Lions-Eagles game is going to be a great one.
It's something because the fans in Detroit were clamoring for the head coach to take over the play calling, where in Pittsburgh they're wishing they would give up the play calling.
Exactly.
So, yeah, nice to see the Lions put up a bunch of points, and the Commanders,
they're done.
Just got too many injuries.
Yeah.
They're at a point of no return right
Daniels,
now.
McLaurin, it's a season from hell.
As you said, it's pretty much over at this point. Documents are out there right now stating that the NFL wants the Players Association to end those report cards on the organizations. And we know the Pittsburgh Steelers traditionally get scored in the DNF range, so I'm sure the clown owner is probably leading the charge on this one. But for whatever reason, the owners of these professional teams don't want the fans to know how cheap they really are behind the scenes.
Yeah, there's that. I'm all for transparency. I don't know why they would end those, but they don't want to look bad, these teams, so I get it.
And they definitely look bad most of the time.
A lot of them, yeah.
If we go through last week, week 10, and just try to recap a little bit about it, we can start with Thursday Night Football, which, again, was a very boring game between the Broncos and Raiders.
Another 10-7 affair.
I don't understand. You look at the Denver record, they're 8-2. You look at some of the numbers out there, like what Bo Nix has done, and
they're 8-2 despite their quarterback.
They're 8-2 despite their quarterback, and I thought last year he was very much overrated to go in the first round. And then I looked at his numbers at the end of the year and thought, this guy's maybe better than I thought.
Yeah, he has a good arm. It's just inconsistent.
Right. And I watch him this year, and I'm like, no, he's exactly what I thought he was.
Yeah.
I don't think there's been any progression or any growth, and you wonder how long Sean Payton's going to deal with that. But they did find a way to defeat the Raiders, and that's a team, I think, like Pittsburgh, that you look at and say, they're probably going to make the playoffs, and they're probably going to be an early exit.
Yeah.
But you can't fault the record. What I thought was the game of the week, New England and Tampa. I wasn't expecting this. I thought for sure Tampa would get the better of the Patriots, but they didn't. And it wasn't the greatest game of his career for Drake May. But how about Travion Henderson? How about New England actually playing the young guys?
He pops.
The Kyle Williams huge 72-yard catch in that game.
Yeah.
Not that Tampa, Igbuka, another fellow rookie, over 100 yards receiving, again, another touchdown. Mayfield looked okay at 3 touchdowns through the air. But the Patriots, that is a machine at this point. When you look back and you look at the Raiders, which they fumbled away, and then the Steelers, which they gave away, they could easily be undefeated right now.
Absolutely. That's a great win for New England, going down to Tampa and now playing them. Good win for Drake May. Stevenson's out tonight. They have some injuries, but should be able to take care of the Jets and move to 9-2.
The Colts got it back on track in Germany, end up going to overtime and scoring a touchdown. Boy, it makes a difference when you actually trust your MVP candidate, Jonathan Taylor. 244 yards and 3 touchdowns on the ground 31-25 over the Falcons. Falcons aren't too shabby either. They don't have the record to show it, but they're feisty. They're in games despite their lack of talent primarily on defense.
Yeah, absolutely. Feisty teams, and the Colts, Jonathan Taylor had an amazing game, and I think that should continue this week. Who do they have? Or they might be off. But yeah, it was a good win for the Colts after that Steeler loss.
Another win for the Bears. They're 6-3 right now. I know that's an upcoming opponent for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, Caleb
They
Williams.
hold off the Giants, ends up getting Brian Daboll fired from the Giants.
Yeah.
But a good win for Caleb Williams, maybe the best he's looked thus far in his career.
He looks all right. I'd still take Drake May over him, but he looks better with Ben Johnson, and they have weapons. Adunze, Loveland, they're not short of weapons for the Bears, so big game with the Vikings this week for
The
them.
head scratcher of the week, 30-13, Miami over Buffalo.
Buffalo did not show up.
What's going on here?
When they play Kansas City, that's the biggest game of the year for them, but Atlanta they lost. They've lost to Miami. They struggle in non-big games.
Well, this was, I guess, a non-big game, and the IT Tech outsmarted your defensive-minded head coach
McDermott
in Buffalo. The Ravens continue to roll. They're up to 4-5 right now, 27-19 winners over the Vikings. Not terrible for J.J. McCarthy, but Baltimore right now on offense, especially with Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson back, they're going to be tough to stop.
They are. They're in their groove again. Lamar's back. His connection with Andrews, you mentioned Henry. They're going to win that division, it looks like.
The Jets get a win over the Browns. The Browns are trying to be the worst team in football. They're starting to make that a reality.
They'll get there.
27-20, and at one point, I believe in the third quarter, Justin Fields had 4 yards passing.
Yeah, brutal. I did not watch a second of that, and I'm glad I didn't.
It's certainly not because of the offense. The Saints get a surprise win over the Panthers. Everybody jumping on the Panthers bandwagon. They were at 5-4. All of a sudden, here come the 1-5 Saints or 1-6 Saints, and they knock them down a few pegs. First win for Tyler Shuck.
Yeah, Bryce Young has not made the progress I thought he might, and that's Tampa's division and then 3 unwatchable teams pretty much.
Everyone's so hopeful that the Jaguars are going to be better than what they actually are. They're dealing with injuries. Travis Hunter out for the year. Brian Thomas was injured. The Texans, who also are dealing with injuries with Davis Mills at the helm, win 36-29.
Yeah, Jacksonville is what they are. And Houston, I think they're good. Defense is good. But with C.J. Stroud out, I'm not sure how many games you can win.
Nick's high on Seattle. They win again, rolling over the Cardinals. Seattle
they look
7-2 behind Sammy Darnold.
Darnold looks awesome. Seattle looks awesome. Smith and Jigba looks like Jerry Rice. I cannot wait for that Seahawks-Rams game Sunday.
Should be fun. Speaking of the Rams, they're the ones to really knock down the 49ers. The 49ers have either won or been close. This was a blowout from the get-go. The Rams 42-26 winners over the 49ers. I'm not sure what's going on with Puka. Hopefully there's Tutu.
Puka and Tutu.
With Kyle Williams, 2 touchdowns. Kyron Williams, 2 touchdowns on the ground.
Stafford not showing his age. Looks like an MVP. Again, should be a great game in the NFC West Sunday.
Mac Jones still had 3 touchdowns through the air.
For the Niners,
For the Niners, yeah. So.
And they're banged up. Everyone but McCaffrey's hurt for them.
Pretty much. 44-22 Lions over Commanders. That was the sole 425 game. Jared Goff, 3 touchdowns through the air. Jamar Gibbs, 142 and 2 touchdowns on the ground.
Yeah, not great that you have to take the play calling away from your OC, but the Lions are fun to watch. All those weapons, St. Brown and Laporta and Montgomery Gibbs, Goff. So they're tough test with the Eagles, though, this week for them.
And we've already mentioned the debacle of Monday Night Football. 10-7 winners. The Philadelphia Eagles, they're 7-2. The Pack 5-3-1.
Yeah, that was a rough watch, but I think they both bounced back this week.
I'm not sure what's going on with either team there.
Yeah, it's odd. Inconsistency.
Well, that is our recap of Week 10. It's time to move on to Week 11. If you've been following on Facebook, 7 on-air personalities from WNBS have been making picks all year. We pick every game. We pick the spread. We do all of those things. And the records are, well, anything but exquisite at this point. That being said, though, Josh Kryzik, 83-66. That's definitely the star of the show. As we're picking, the next closest to him is me, and I'm 10 back. So some of us got to start making up some ground. It was an awful week for everyone. 6 and 8s and 5s and 9s. That was, you were either one or the other if you were picking with us. All of the picks for Week 11 will be revealed tomorrow afternoon on Facebook, so make sure you're checking there to see who everyone chose. Nick and I, as we always do, will pick on radio and TV starting right now, so you'll get a preview of at least who we're picking, and then you'll get everything else tomorrow. We'll start with tonight, Thursday Night Football in Foxborough. I'm super excited for it because it should be 10-2 when this week is over. The New England Patriots are 13.5-point favorites over the New York Jets.
Well, don't get ahead of yourself. It'll be 9-2, but yeah, they'll probably win next week at this rate. Give me the it's a division game, short week. I think New England wins, but by 13, so I'll take the Jets for fun.
Well, Nick is correct. It would be 9-2. I looked at the 8 and saw a 9 somehow. Probably just wishful thinking.
Yeah.
Probably thinking they should have 9 wins at this point based on what happened in that Steeler game. I agree with you. I think New England is going to win, but I don't think 13.5 is just a lot of points. I don't think their defense can keep a game that far apart. I think it's going to be closer. So I will also take the Jets. I think New England's going to win, just not by 13.5.
Agreed.
Sunday morning football from Spain.
Madrid.
El Español. And wow, do we really do a great job of marketing ourselves in foreign countries. Spain is going to get to witness the Commanders versus the Dolphins. Miami favored by 2.5.
Como estás, Dave? That's how are you in Spanish. I still remember a little bit from high school. Yeah, Tua versus Mariota. Have fun, Spain. Give me the Dolphins.
I will take the Dolphins in this one as well. I don't know if there are any Best Buys in Spain, but if there's no distraction for the Dolphin head coach, should be able to come up with a game plan to defeat the beleaguered Commanders.
Coach Mikey Mack.
Panthers at Falcons. Falcons favored by 3.5.
Yeah, the Falcons are the better team. Give me Atlanta.
I'm taking Atlanta too. It was a great run for Carolina, but I think when you start looking at talent, I see London, I see Pitts.
I see London, I see France.
Oh, I see Bijan Robinson too.
Oh.
I see a better team over there. I'll take the Falcons. Bucks at Bills. Bills favored by 5.5.
Bills laid such an egg. I think they win this game, but by a field goal. I like Tampa. Give me the Bucks, but the Bills to win.
Well, I had Tampa last week against New England, and they didn't make it happen, so I'm going to take Buffalo this week with the 5.5. They've got to do something to rebound off of that embarrassment to Miami last week. Chargers, we know all about them. They're at Jacksonville, taking on the Jaguars. Chargers favored by 2.5.
Long flight, but Hunter's out. Chargers the better team. Give me the Chargers.
I'm going with the Chargers, too. I mean, it's going to take a little bit more creativity to beat the Jaguars than what it took Sunday night, but I think Harbaugh will figure it out. Bears at Vikings. Vikings favored by 3.5.
So McCarthy's not playing? So who's starting for the Vikings? I mean, it's not Wentz.
Oh, is he not playing?
I
didn't hear that he definitely wasn't playing.
I think he may not, but give me the Bears either way. I think they go in and win. Give me the Bears.
I did know who they're back. It'd be some no-name that's never played.
Yeah.
I'm taking the Vikings.
Oh, wow.
I'm going to bank on the fact that McCarthy's going to play, and I'm taking the Vikings in this one because they still have Jefferson and Addison and Hawkinson. Packers at Giants. Packers favored by 7.5.
Jameis Winston, interim coach. Green Bay will bounce back a bit. Give me the Packers all day.
I'm taking the Packers in this one as well. Texans at Titans. As far as we know, it's still Davis Mills.
Still Davis Mills, but the Titans are really bad. Give me the Mills-led Texans to win and cover.
I didn't even give you a spread. 6.5. You still taking them?
I saw it. Yeah, it's Houston.
I'm taking the Texans as well. 49ers at Cardinals. 49ers favored by 2.5.
Mac Jones, baby. That offense is not quarterback dependent. Give me the Niners.
A former Patriot quarterback that I just couldn't stand.
Yeah.
Against a former Patriot quarterback that I actually think has a little bit of talent.
That's right.
I'm going to go with Arizona and Jacoby Brissett.
Wow. Mac Jones looks decent, though.
We'll see. Seahawks at Rams. Rams favored by 3.5.
He does look decent. We already saw. Seahawks Rams is a good one. Give me the Seahawks on the road. I think they're the best team in the league right now.
Nick's favorite team. I'm going to go with the Rams. I think they run the ball all over Seattle with Kyron Williams and Blake Corum. Rams in this one. Ravens at Browns. Ravens by 7.5.
Not watching a second of this one. Lamar goes off. The Browns are the worst team in the league. Give me the Ravens.
Honestly, it could have been 70.5, and I still might be tempted to take the Ravens. I'm taking Baltimore in this one. Chiefs at Broncos. Chiefs by 3.5.
Good one. The Broncos are good, but inconsistent quarterback play. Chiefs coming off the loss to Buffalo, go in and handle business. Chiefs.
I will take Kansas City as well. Mahomes much better than Bo Nix. Sunday Night Football. Lions at Eagles. Eagles favored by 2.5.
Really good one. Love that Lions offense, but they're different outdoors. I don't love they took the play calling away from the OC. Give me the Birds, the Eagles by a field goal.
I'm taking the Eagles, too. I think the Lions' defense is susceptible, and I think the Eagles figure it out. They'll be throwing the ball a lot to A.J. Brown. You can bet on that because every time he cries, he gets the ball. Yeah. Monday Night Football, Cowboys at Raiders. Cowboys by 3.5.
Yeah, Raiders are just, I think it's over for Pete Carroll. Genty and Bowers, Crosby, they have talent, but Dallas is the better team. The boys, give me Dallas.
I can't believe it's only 3.5. I'm definitely taking Dallas in that one. Well, there you go, everyone. Those are our picks. A few buys this week, so we don't have everyone, but that is Week 11, the week ahead, which begins tonight in Foxborough. Don't miss that. The Penguins tomorrow at 2 o'clock. Don't miss that. Pitt, Notre Dame, Saturday at noon. Don't miss that. And the chance that Cincinnati can knock off the Steelers twice in the same year, Sunday at 1. You definitely don't want to miss that. And you know what else you don't want to miss? Next Thursday, 4:15 to 6, the Sports Voice, as we break it all down for you. Thank you for listening, everyone. I'll talk to you next week.
You may have noticed a new internet company knocking at your door with claims like, "I'm not here to sell you anything," or "I wouldn't lie to you." The truth is, Armstrong has played an important role in your community for decades, and we're not going anywhere. That new internet provider will probably change their name, get bought out by another company, or fold completely. Armstrong, the internet you count on, the people you trust. Visit ArmstrongOneWire.com today, or anytime in the future.
The winners are in for the 2025 Best in Fayette contest presented by Nemacolin. You can pick up your free 2025-26 Best in Fayette book at the WMBS Broadcast House, the Uniontown Super 8, Casey Sports Cafe, the Uniontown Shop and Save,